occupied in a particular uh, this need to be occupied in a particular space. Means sometimes you have very compact space, and the design. Just 1 minute, I will close the door. Okay, I am starting again. We have now today dual gear design with space constraint. Means we need to occupy the design in a predetermined space or the minimum space. So let's go to the problem statement. Okay. So we have here cast iron bevel gear pair. So the material for the bevel gear here is cast iron bevel pair, having P circle diameter 80 mm and 100 mm. So means it is already decided you should have the P circle diameter of pinion and gear around 80 mm and 100 mm. And it has to transmit 3 kilowatt power. It need to transmit 3 kilowatt power with a pinion speed of 1200 rpm. So this is the input speed, and the tooth system is 14 and a half. You can take composite, or you can take, consider here, even though it is mentioned composite, we will take as involute, because as per our curriculum we have a limitation design thing for involute only. Composite means it will have some profile made up of involute, and another profile may be made up of another curvature, that is maybe of cycloid or epicycloid in nature. Then they have given the, since they may have given the material, even they have given the material property also in the problem, that if the static strength of the pinion and gear is 56 megapascal. So this is the strength given. So this is the bending strength value, 66 Newton per millimeter square. So you have to determine what is the module required here, the face width and the surface height. So briefly we are summarizing given data. So we have 3 kilowatt power, input speed 1200 rpm, approximate diameter for pinion 80 mm, approximate diameter for gear 100 mm, and bending strength value, permissible bending strength value sigma b 56 Newton per millimeter. So within given constraint of these two sizes, you need to design. Now here you may say a module we can directly determine by taking the number of ticks. So that is also quite possible, but that whether that module may take care of the required strength or not, that we have to check again also. So since whenever there is a already given dimensions are given, then it will become quite difficult for designers to design the, because he doesn't have then a constraint to select anything. I mean, he has a constraint to select anything. He has to select certain parameters only. So that's why when we started gear design chapter, I told designing is simple, but gear analysis is difficult. Once you design, then doing analysis of existing design becomes quite difficult. So let's go to the next slide. Okay. So we are considering here tooth profile, even though it is mentioned composite, we are reducing it to the involute only. Pressure angle, here they have given pressure angle, so that pressure angle we are considering. And here we are considering the type of tooth, maybe sub teeth here, and quality of cut commercially, and remaining thing as same as the previous design. So let's go to the ratio here. Uh, Normally we try to follow the whatever the existing step process, but some problems we need to change the state also. But I'm trying to follow the whatever existing process here. So here we have number of stage calculation, stage ratio. Since the diameters are given, so you can calculate stage ratio based on the diameter. So since you have diameter of the gear 100 mm and diameter of the pinion is 80 mm approximately. So this is not the final diameter. Please remember, these are the approximate diameter given in the problem. So you can have stage ratio of 1.25. You are having stage ratio of here 1.25. Now, since the ratio is very small, number of stages required will be less, because you are designing only single gear pair. So now you can check whether this ratio is available in PhD standard data book, whether this is a standard value or any other. So standard page ratio from PhD 8.3 is 1.25. You can see also, you can check. I already shown here, but still you can check, cross check here with the page number 1.3. Yes, standard gear ratio. Standard gear ratio here is 1.25. In the first step itself is 1.25. But this is from 8.3, table number 4, 1.25 is possible. But when we actually select the number of teeth, then the standard ratio is converted into 1.20. So when we go to the next table values, then this 1.25 is converted into 1.26. So there is no much difference between 1.25 ratio and 1.26. Okay, so you can select this ratio 1.25 or 1.26, and we can start designing. So we have standard ratio from PhD 8.3, 1.25 to 1.25. Now, since you are assuming 14.5 degree, so if you go by this calculation, let's say we have taken sub 16 here, then the minimum teeth on the to overhead interference, these numbers comes very large. If you see, this number comes very large. So 25 means you require 26 or 27. And suppose if you take this I ratio, the number of teeth on the then gear will additionally 32.5. So with additional gear will be 33. Now I have put here in the red. Why we are not going to select? You can do the calculation, but we are not going to select this in the design, because once I select these values of Z1 here 26 and Z2 here 33, I have already having the diameter. That is, we are having already the diameter. Then you can do the calculation of module directly. Suppose you select 26 teeth here by this calculation, and you have diameter is equal to 80 mm. So 80 divided by 26 is the directly you are getting module. So no design aspects are taken care. It is just arithmetic calculation. So as an engineer, we are not doing arithmetic calculation. We need to design the thing. So that's why this calculation I have put in red means we are not going to select here. So this is only for information. We have done the calculation, but we are not using in the design calculation. Please remember here. So then how we will design? So we have this pinion here with this diameter. This I am talking about this diameter, that is larger end diameter, larger end pitch diameter should be around 80 mm, and this larger end diameter for gear here, this diameter should be around 100 mm. So if I select module here, then number of teeth can be find out. If I select number of teeth, then module can be find out, because it is just only arithmetic calculation. So we are not using this arithmetic calculation. So we are stopping here. 26, 33 we are not using. It may happen that we may get the actual number of teeth greater than this also, or may get less than this, because since this problem is constant, then you can select the number of teeth less than the Z minimum. It is not always necessary to select the number of teeth is above Z minimum. It is a normal practice, but in some constant condition, you can change your Z value and you can select lower than the Z minimum. Okay, so next you can go here. So we are deciding the weaker element. Since the material is same, so weaker element will be pinion. This is the previous data. The copy paste error. Please. Then we have the calculation. This part is copy paste, so please don't follow this. We are considering the shafts are intersecting at 90 degrees as given in the previous diagram. So you can calculate your cone angle here, semi-cone angle for pinion, based on the diameter of the approximate diameter of pinion and gear. So this comes out to be 38.65 degrees. And similarly, complementary angle, because if it is 90 degree, complementary angle for gear will be 90 minus this value. So it will, or you can directly do the calculation here. So it will be 51.34. Now, since we have not finalized it, so what we are doing, we require the value of virtual teeth, because without that we can do the calculation of y factor here, that is the Lewis form factor. So we are selecting the approximate value as 20. So this is not the final value. Z1 selected here is not a final value. This Z1 value we are selecting so that we can do some calculation for y. Otherwise, this y will be unknown, because without that Z1 dash we cannot do the calculation of y. So this is the initial assumption. We are assuming there are teeth, 26 teeth on the pinion, and with that 26 teeth, what is the y factor? So Z1 dash we are getting this virtual number of teeth are 33.29, and then from referring from PhD for 14 and a half. So this formula is for 14 and a half. If you see the earlier formula is different, which was for 20 degrees. So this formula is for 14 and a half. So 14 and a half, you get this value of y is equal to for 26 teeth, that is virtual number of teeth 33.29, 0.103. Then we can do the capital Y calculation. Then you have been given here. So this is copy paste here. It is actually 56. So sigma b y is equal to 56 into 0.325. So we are having this product as 18.20. Otherwise, what will happen? If you don't select the number of teeth here, this will be unknown. So you cannot evaluate y, then this will become unknown, then solution becomes 6. Okay, let's get to next. We will determine the torque value here. So let's go to the next slide. Here we are determining here torque and tangential load. So we have power here 3 kilowatt. Formula for power is 2 pi nt upon 60 into 10 raised to 6. So power in kilowatt is 3. Then this has to be in 10 raised to 6 power. The RPM given here is 1200, and this will be your rated torque. That is the torque available on the pinion shaft. So this rated torque comes out to be 23,873 Newton millimeter. So when you do the calculation here, if you do this calculation with the help of calculator, so this value is coming as 23.87. Now this value we are not using in the calculation. We have to get the design value. Design value will be taken as KDK into MT. That is from KG 8.15. We are determining the value of KD and K. So K value we are taking from table number 40, and KD value. So if you go to this diagram, okay, how we have taken the diagram value of KD and K. We have taken 1.1 for K, and KD is equal to 1.55. Let's take this table number 14 on 8.15. Let's take this table. Okay, on page number 14, how to select this value of here. These are the values of KDK value. Now we are considering bevel gear here, and we are considering the BHN value at this moment, whether we required same value, or because this is also part of question, determine the hardness, surface hardness required for this problem. So we are assuming that we require hardness less than 350. So we are taking the K value for bevel gear with D by D ratio, considering less than 1 as 1.1. So K we have taken 1.1 from table number 15. Similarly, KD value, if you go to the KD value here, so this is the KD value table. Now pitch line velocity. Now if you see the RPM here, RPM is large. Yesterday I have told, when the RPM is greater than 800 RPM, normally either you could take pitch line velocity in the range of 8 or 12 meters per second. Now since our RPM is around 1200 RPM, so we will consider the pitch line velocity around 8 meters per second. And considering a conical gear, that is bevel gear here, considering again you have to consider BHN value less than 350. So if you consider greater than 350, then 1.4 will come for 8 meters per second, and less than 350, it is coming as 1.65. So here our assumption, we are considering the BHN value less than 350, and we are considering the velocity is up to 8 meter per second. So we get the KD factor here, dynamic load factor, 1.65. So let's go to the designer calculation again. So in this design calculation, so we have taken this value of KD and K from table 14 and table 15 from PHG 8.15 and 8.15 respectively. So our design torque value has changed now 40,703 Newton millimeter. Now since we know the pinion diameter, so we can evaluate the tangential load on the pin. So Ft is equal to 2 mt upon dp into 1 minus 0.5 by r. So this formula is available in the PhD also. So from this you can calculate the tangential load. So we have now rated torque value is 40703. Then dp, this is the approximate pinion diameter. Approximate pinion diameter we have taken as 80 mm, which is given in the problem. Then 1 minus 0.5 into b by r. Normally b by r ratio, that is the face width of the gear upon your cone distance. Normally this b by r ratio is in the range of 1:3 to 1:4. So I am selecting here 1:3. It may be different than 1:3 or 1:4 also, but for design calculation here we are selecting around 1:3. So when you put this value, we get tangential load here in terms of Newton, that is 1221. Since say whenever, please remember, whenever the RPM of the shaft is more and power is small, then the tangential value will be small. Tangential load value will be small. Other case, your power is more, torque is more, as well as your speed is slow. Then this tangential load will be very large to drive that bigger torque value. Okay, so there is a direct relation between torque and radius. So if your radius is more, then your tangential load will be more. Okay, so let's go to the next. Now we have done the calculation of tangential load here. Now we have to determine here in this case. Now we have to determine the module. So we need to use certain methodology here. So since we have knowing certain constraints, so we are normally, whenever we normally design with velocity factor. So we are to consider dynamic load for design with the velocity factor. Okay. So first we are writing the beam strength value. So beam strength value, Lewis equation formula, that is Fb is equal to mb sigma by into 1 minus b by r. M is the module, b is the face width of the gear, sigma by is for the weaker element, and 1 minus b by r is your bevel factor. Okay. So m is unknown in this case. We are assuming b may be in the order of 10 m. It may be different than 10 m also. And sigma by product we have done in the previous slide is that calculation based on the strength of the material, it is 18.20. Then bevel factor, we are taking b by ratio approximately 1/3. So we have considered b by r is equal to 1/3. So if I put this value here, then my beam strength value, which is coming in terms of m square here. So the coefficient of m square here by doing this calculation, it comes out to be 121.33 m square. Okay. So this is the beam strength of your bevel gear system. So if you increase m, then beam strength will increase. If you decrease m, then beam strength will decrease. So how much beam strength will be required? That will depend upon your own effective load. So to do the calculation of effective load, let's first determine the velocity, approximate velocity here, pitch line velocity. So this is the formula for pi d1 n1 upon 60,000. So d1 approximate value is 80 mm, n1 is given 1200 rpm. So our velocity comes out to be 55 knots. Now if you see our assumption, we have assumed the velocity is up to 8 meter per second. So it is less than 8 meter per second and greater than 3 meter per second. So our approximation is approximately correct. So we have this value as 5.02 meter per second. Now for this, we have to use the formula here, PV formula. Now this formula is available on page number 8.52. Yesterday there was correction I am shown. So let's go and take this formula from 8.62. Here, this is the formula. We are considering commercially cut gear. My velocity is slightly greater than 5 meter per second. So my formula here, this is 3.5 that I explained yesterday. My velocity here by design calculation is greater than 5 meter per second. Or if you don't know the velocity and if you know the RPM, that I said, if you know the RPM of that shaft, then you have to, for spiral bevel gear, substrate bevel gear, you have to use this formula, whether it is spiral or bevel. So I am using this formula because my RPM is greater than 1000 RPM, as well as my velocity after doing calculation also it is approximately greater than 5 meter per second, because we don't know exactly we will have 5 meter per second or greater than that. So let's use this formula in the design calculation. So this formula I am used in the design calculation for velocity. So this is our formula for velocity factor for dynamic software calculation. CV 5.5 plus root v upon 5.5 entire bracket raised to 1 by 2. So once we put this value of velocity here, so we get CV factor as 1.18. So 1.18 is the CV factor here. Then we have this formula for bevel gear. The dynamic load is equal to CV MSF service factor into Km. That is the bearing arrangement for the shaft into tangential load. So this is from 8.52 page. Same page we have visited yesterday. So for this we are considering NS is equal to 1.5 and Km is equal to 1.3. I am considering both the shafts are having overhanging bevel. So they are supported on the other end of the gear, but they are not supported on the other side of the gear. So we are considering Km here as 1.6. Saddle is not mounted there. So by putting this value of CV, NS, that is MSS, and Km, we get dynamic load value in terms of F2. So this value is almost 2.3 times the tangential load value. And we know the tangential load value from the previous slide calculation, that was 1221 Newton. So your dynamic load becomes as 2809.7. Now when you will say your design is safe, your design will be safe only when your beam strength value is greater than or equal to your dynamic load. So then design is safe. So this is my statement. So now you want to remove this greater than sign, then you have to put equality sign with some coefficient here. So I am putting SB is equal to a coefficient. So that coefficient is called as factor of safety into FD. So this factor of safety, normally whenever we design, minimum factor of safety is taken as 1.25 to 1.5. Even it can go up to 2.5. This value can go up to 2.5. So for smaller module calculation, I am selecting this as 1.5. So if I put this value here 1.5, FD value from this relation and SB value from this relation here. So that is 120.3 square on the left side to factor of safety 1.5 into your FD value 2809.7. So from this we get the calculation of M here as 5.89. So if we go to the 8.3 page PhD, so the standard value available is 6 mm. Now with this module, now we have a limit on the pitch diameter 80 mm. So what should be the number of teeth on pinion? So if we go for this teeth calculation, so we get this 80 by 6 is equal to 13.36. Similarly, we can do the calculation of ZG. Dg by m is equal to 100 by 6. It comes as 16.6. Now you may say, let's 13.33, let's make it 14. But we have to check whether 14 with 14 teeth on pinion, any gear pair is available as a standard tooth size or not. So for that, you need to refer the various tables available from 8.6 onward, 8.6 to 8.12. So if you go to the PhD 8.6, if you go to the PhD 8.6, See here, we are coming to the standard gear ratio here. Your standard gear ratio is 1.25. So 1.25 is approximately equal to 1.26 here. So we have minimum teeth on the pinion should be equal to 15. We cannot, for one, this is the first page of itself in this table. So it cannot be less than 15. So that's why I have selected 15 there for ZP. And for based on this 1.26 ratio, ZG will be 19. So even though it is coming as 16, 17, we are taking 19 there. So you can take, suppose you want to take higher one, then this is also possible. 16, 20. So you can take 15, 20. So I am selecting 15, 19. So our design calculation, if you go here, so in this we have selected here this value as 15 here, which is minimum from PAG 8.6, and the corresponding pair value is 19. So even though it is 17 is okay here, since we have selected 15 here, corresponding pair value to maintain that I ratio of 1.25 or 1.26, we need to select 19. Now, if we go to the previous slide here, we have done this RAID calculation. I have shown in the RAID with minimum. Yeah. We have seen this calculation. Minimum we require 26 and 33 here, but this cannot be selected. If you select this, then your module value will be less than 6 mm, and if that module value is less than 6 mm, then your gear will fail under bending. It will fail under bending, so you will not have sufficient beam strength, and it will. So what is done? We are decreasing the number of teeth, so that we, for same diameter, we can increase the tooth thickness, so that it becomes stronger in beam. So we have decreased this value from 26 to almost to 15. So that we are doing here. Yeah, we have decreased this value to 15, and this will be now final dimension. So 15 and 19. So if you go to the problem statement, see what we have done, the calculation, determine the module. So we have determined the module. Next is to determine the face width and the surface area. Now the face width calculation is by 10 mm. It's again geometric calculation, but you have to check that geometric calculation is correct or not. So we are going to the face width calculation here, checking for wear load. So in this formula, you are 75% of the BQ dpk upon cos delta P. So Q, we have selected ZG as 19 and ZK as 15. So based on that value, Q ratio factor here is equal to 1.225. Then this R value, this is from PIG data book, MT ZP upon Q sin delta P. M you are taken as 6, ZP is 15. So from that we get 72.05. Now minimum face width has to be minimum of these two values, either 10 mm or 0.3 R, 21.61. So here it is 60 mm, and here by 0.3 R, R is 72. So if you take 0.3 R, it is around 21.61. So we have to select, then this is the minimum value. For this minimum value, what is the minimum wear load? That is the minimum wear load. In actual practice, we can keep this value greater than in the actual manufacturing. We can keep this P value greater than this. But this is I am checking for minimum wear strength. So when you are finalizing your design, you can keep this value as 160 mm, or you can keep this value as even as 40 mm, no problem. So let's say if I take minimum value, then what should be my surface hardness? What should be so we are taking the wear load. So what should be the surface hardness for this minimum face width? In actual practice, my face width will be greater than this. So we know the pinion diameter. So since we have taken higher value, now based on the number of teeth, which we have taken 1 or 2 teeth more, so what it is going to change is the pinion diameter. So instead of 80 mm, now it is becoming 90 mm, and DG will become accordingly changed. Now this K factor is equal to 0.156 into PHN by 100 raised to square. So when you are using steel gear, This ratio factor can be expressed both the gears of similar in nature, steel gear. Then this ratio factor in terms of BHN is 0.156 your load stress factor BHN upon 100 square. So this is available in your Bhandari book. So you can use this formula. Now we are going, this is unknown, so we cannot do the calculation right now. So this will remain unknown only. So if you use now this formula to determine SW, so we have SW. Here we are determining SW minimum. So I am putting B minimum, that is 21.61. But in actual practice, actual design or actual use, my B will be greater than this. Then ratio factor Q. Then we have diameter dp, pinion diameter 90 mm, and then your load stress factor K in terms of BHN, that is 0.156 into BHN by 100 square upon cross delta P. So this value, when you do the calculation, so BHN is unknown, so BHN square will remain as it is, and remaining coefficient will come as 0.03569. So which will come this value in terms of Newton. Again, you have to make this design shape. So when you are making this design shape, your beam strength value, wear strength value has to be greater than equal to FD value. Then only design is safe in wear. So if you want to remove this proportionality sign here, means greater than sign here, so you have to put equal to sign. So for putting this equal to sign here, we have to introduce a factor of safety here. So again, the factor of safety for bending can be different and factor of safety for wear can be different. And sometimes it is specified in the problem that minimum factor of safety for wear should be 1.2, 1.25. Minimum is maximum is in the range of 1.75 to 1.2. But for bending, this value of factor of safety is very large. Sometimes even it can go up to 3. For wear, it is smaller in the range from 1.25 to 1.5. Let's say we select 1.5. So we have SW value here. Then we have factor of safety assumed here as 1.5, and FD value we have done in the previous slide. This calculation is done. So by putting this value, we get the minimum BHN value required here as 850. See, we have selected certain parameters based on the hardness of the surface, BHN, that is hardness of the surface, and mostly we have selected hardness less than 350. So once I do the calculation here, I am getting less than 350, means all my design calculation, previous calculations are correct. Suppose I get this BHN value greater than 350, then you have to go and cross check certain parameters here. So you need to check the beam strength or the module requirement afterwards. Since all the design calculations we have done, if you see any slide here, I have showing one calculation selected there. Yeah, here. We have assumed velocity is less than 8 meters per second and linear hardness less than 350, and based on that we are taking the dynamic load factor 1.6. Now if we take this value, greater than 350, then this KD value is going to change. Then KD value change means your MT value change. MT value will change means FT value will change. Then your beam strength will change. So your module will change. So when you do the calculation, finally, whatever our assumption, we are getting that, yes, we are getting, and we require BHN here less than 350. So a normal surface treatment may give, surface heat treatment will give you the required strength of 343.62 Newton per millimeter. So BHN hardness is always expressed in terms of Newton per millimeter square. So this value is 343.62 Newton per millimeter square. So you require minimum BHN to get the minimum factor of safety in the wear equal to 1.5. This value is 343.6. Suppose you require 1.25 factor of safety, then this BHN will be according to that. It will be lesser, still lesser than 343. So from this you can calculate the BHN required here. So sometimes the problems on spur gear, problems on helical gear as well as bevel gear, a small problem is asked, not the 20 marks problem is asked. They will ask the problem for 10 marks, 12 marks or 14 marks. And in that, you need not to design everything. They will ask only design this much, you design this much. Since they have not talked about contact space anywhere in the problem, so that's why we are not doing any calculation for contact space here. So What is required? They have asked module, so we have selected module. They have asked face width, so we have selected face width, and minimum face width is this much. But we will select face width. In the actual design, my face width may be 60 mm. If I take minimum face width, then what is my minimum BHN? Maximum BHN this much. If I increase my face width here from 20 to say 40 mm, so when I put here 40 mm here, I will put 40 mm here. Then my this coefficient will change, which is now smaller. It will become bigger, and as this coefficient will becomes bigger, then I require lesser surface hardness. And in such cases, it may happen that you may require this BHN value maybe around 250, 250 or 275. So up to 250 for steel material or cast iron material, there is no heat treatment required. Basically, the surface itself has that much strength, but once you cross this value of 250 and above, then a moderate heat treatment is required up to 350. And above 350, you require specialized heat treatment process. So if those are knowing the material technology or material science in detail, so they will come to know how much effort will be required to gain this strength in a particular material. So gaining strength up to 350 is easy and it is economical. Uh, Gaining strength above 350 is quite difficult. In some of the material, it is not possible to gain that strength. But for some material, it is possible. Especially, you can gain this strength only in medium carbon steel. You cannot gain this strength above 350 in low carbon steel. The heat, even though you do the heat treatment for low carbon steel, you will not get this. So there you require slightly higher carbon content in the range of 0.4 to 0.6% carbon content. There you can get BHN value in the range of 400, 450. Even you can, for high carbon steel, you can go up to 500 BHN. In rarest case, you can go up to 600 BHN. But normal range of BHN value for heat treated surfaces is in the range from 300 BHN to 450 BHN. Normal range. So for any if you take any medium carbon steel and if you do the normal heat treatment, you can gain a strength between 300 to 450 Newton per millimeter. So this is regarding a very special problem because sometimes they have asked these problems of similar in nature, and this problem cannot be solved by using your PhD data book as it is. Somewhere you have to remember these formulas. The formulas I have shown here. Somewhere you have to remember these formulas by heart, because without these formulas you cannot do. Somewhere you need remember this formula for FD for velocity factor method for bevel gear here. FD for spur gear and helical gear will be only CV into FT. And if required, you can add the NSF and KM required. KM is not the part there, only NSF, that service factor you can add in that calculation. So if you go for spur gear and helical gear, this KM will not be there. CV will be there, NSF will be there, and FT will be there. So if similar problems come for say spur gear design or say helical gear, only remove KM factor. You can remove this KM factor from this and you can do the calculation with PV, NSF and FT. And then you can write down the formula SB greater than equal to FD, then FOS. Sometimes this FOS is given in the problem, sometimes not. Then if it is not given, you assume minimum as 1.6. So then you can solve this problem. So if you have any difficulty, you can ask the doubt. So I have completed the problem because many times these problems for short. So this is the calculation. We get 6 mm, 72 mm. Then we are getting here 15 feet, 19 feet here face width. This is the minimum face width. Actual face width will be greater than this. Height factor, bottom clearance, and tooth depth for the bevel gear. That you see that the pitch, maximum pitch diameter. So if you have any doubt, you can ask the doubt right now. So I'll stop presenting.